Talk to him.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Whether the winters were left in the cold.
Let me come to the ring, man. Let me come to the ring. Let's get it, y'all.
Fighting out of the southpaw stance. Standing at 6'2", 190 pounds. I give you, boy, I'm made different. I work too hard. Ain't no way I ain't getting paid different. It's from the dirt,
Yeah.
from the blood. You ain't slave with me. This was strictly for my homies that was brave with me. You can't come in with me now if you ain't came with me. Skull looking at you side eye if you ain't with real life. I seen a couple people try and it ain't in pretty. I only keep the people around that stood on 10 with me. And if they start to stand on 9, that's where it end with me. It can end quickly.
All right. Yo, it's Classic with the classic codes, man. We live, man. Streaming live on YouTube and Instagram at the classic codes, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat 333 as y'all fall in, man. I got a great live show for y'all today. Check it out. There go the agenda. Hold on, let me get situated real quick. Yes, Lord. All right. There we go. There we go, man. We here, but I got a great live show for y'all tonight. So this afternoon, we doing the question of the day. Then we doing the live reaction to some 8 at the table content today. And then we doing the code language. Let me double check my sound real quick. Let me double check my audio real quick. Check. We clean on that. Clean on the cameras. Let's roll. So we doing 8 at the table, but we got the and then we got the code language conversation. The code language conversation is know your code. But we starting off with we're gonna start off with the live reaction video, get warmed up, and then we're gonna get into the question of the day, and we actually gonna do the code language last today. But the question of the day is, when should men disregard a woman's past, or when should a man disregard a woman's past? And as y'all see the image right there, we got Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner right there. And we just going to get into that conversation, and we're going to talk about it, hash it out. And most importantly, we're going to stick to the codes. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on your notifications because we live every day. That's how we coming. So turn on them notifications so you don't miss the work. You know what I mean? But without further ado, man, let's get into that reaction video. Let me put it in for y'all, man. Yes, Lord. Hope y'all feeling as good as I do today. I'm in a chill mood. We'll see if it stay the same, man. These reaction videos be getting me sometimes. Let me quit playing. All right, y'all. 8 at the table, man. Let's check it out.
Is now when you try to settle down with one, you got to compare this one for your life to the hundreds you've been with.
But like, would you ever do a story about polygamy? But being the woman who has
who dabbles in it?
Yeah.
Oh, you dabble?
Yeah.
How is that?
Amazing.
Oh,
amazing. But
Neil
I'll tell
out here
you,
stealing your thunder though. Neil think he the guy now.
well, he, listen. he can have the thunder because he's doing it for a whole different reason. Let me say this since we're bringing it up. My space in it, honestly, is because since I've been exposed to different cultures, and different religious and spirit practices around the world, my thing is I haven't found a lot of men in America who are really appealing to me spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So my thing is, I've got the athlete that I hang out with, I've got the spirit that I pray with, I've got the person that's adventurous that I travel with.
Yeah. We know. How many of them hidden? Off rip. How many of them is you letting smash? I know she about to try to downplay it, make it seem like all these men ain't in her life for these reasons. We gonna break this down, chat. We gonna break this one down.
So it's more lifestyle than it is the sexual connection for me. It's more like I'm not in a relationship, so I have more than one man I spend time with.
So whatever you don't get over here, you can get here.
Yeah. Now my soul is actually monogamous. But because I can't find
what?
that.
Hey, they'll say anything. Her soul is monogamous. She got a man for prey. She they'll say, hey man, you can't make this shit up from the top. I need to hear this for the top, y'all. We got time. What's the rush? What's the rush?
Being the woman who has
Who
guys.
dabbles in it?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you dabbling?
Yeah,
How is that?
amazing,
Oh,
amazing. But I'll
Neil
tell
out here
you,
stealing your thunder though. Neil think he the guy now.
well, he, listen. He can have the thunder because he's there for a whole different reason. Let me say this since we're bringing it up. My space in it, honestly, is because since I've been exposed to different cultures, and different religious and spirit practices around the world, my thing is I haven't found a lot of men in America who are really appealing to me spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So my thing is I've got the athlete that I hang out with, I've got the spirit that I pray with, I've got the person that's adventurous that I travel with. So it's more lifestyle than it is the sexual connection for me. It's more like I'm not in a relationship, so I have more than one man I spend time with.
so whatever you don't get over here, you can get here.
Yeah.
or
Now
here. How many-
my soul is actually monogamous.
I wonder if guys ever look at a woman who is beautiful and then she opens her mouth and then he's like, what a shame. What a shame.
What's going on, man? But her so, man, y'all listening to the same? I can't, bro. I'm literally. I know I'm supposed to be reacting to this. It's so much I want to say that I don't even want to say anything. I'm speechless. We just gonna let this continue. I'll find my spots, y'all. This is some this.
But because I can't find
What
that,
the fuck?
I don't stop.
Did you decide to dibble dabble in polygamy after that breakup you mentioned that took you to Africa?
It's
or
before that.
Before that, okay.
Years ago. It was before that.
Wow. Okay.
It was way before that. And so me having a relationship after that was me trying monogamy again. And a large part of me was bored. Intellectually I was bored. Again, I want to travel the world. I wasn't finding a lot of African American men who are building their lives to do that. I even say now when I meet men, I say,
Yo, I don't want to say what's coming to mind. That's why I'm just letting it run, y'all. I don't want to say what's coming to mind because I want to. I'm trying to not come off a certain way, but like I'm hearing her say that she is a natural born street worker. She is glamorizing, dressing up, spelling out, explaining. And it just sounds like a lady of the night. You have this multitude of guys you deal with, and all of them are someone that you connect with for a different individual reason that tickles your fancy in a particular facet that is a part of the multifaceted person that you are. So this person stimulates you in this way, and this person stimulates you in that way, and this person stimulates you physically, but is he the only one hidden? And that's being left out because her words were, it's not that it even has to do with anything sexual. That do not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that they not hidden. It just means it's not the primary reason or the primary the primary reason for the connection. But it don't mean that the physical aspect is not there. You gotta listen to what they say and listen to what they don't say. And she tap dancing around a whole bunch of bullshit. I was trying not to be blunt, but it's smoke.
I carry 5 currencies on any given day. How many currencies do you have?
One currency for the country I'm in at the time. Don't nobody care if you got Nigerian dollars in your wallet in the middle of fucking Minnesota. Don't nobody care if you got Bahamian dollars in your wallet in the middle of damn Wyoming. You carry 5 currencies. So what? I got a bunch of currencies too in my drawer in the office. I got a bunch of currencies too. Well, what the fuck? What the fuck is $2 in Bahama money in your wallet in fucking California? You can't spend that shit nowhere. You're not even talking about nothing, lady.
Okay.
Damn. God damn.
And that's not a flex.
Yeah,
That's just
it is.
it's
But
my
it's,
lifestyle.
but it's
You tried to
intimidating.
flex
Oh
on
well,
sure.
see, here we go with
It's
that.
I'm trying to get my money up in
Right.
one place.
Intimidating to who? Who's intimidated by that? You carry one currency that you could spend and 4 earn other currencies that you can't spend in your wallet on a day-to-day. Y'all know, y'all realize people who travel internationally or have traveled internationally, y'all realize there's like currency exchanges in the airport. You can just swap your bread out at the airport when you get there to whatever country that you're going to. There's no need to have 5 current. What you saying that to say what? You might wake up in New York one day and decide you just want to happen to fly to Europe and you already got euros on you. Like, okay, whether you did or didn't, you could just swap out your cash, your USD for euros when you get there. Like, it's not, you're not talking about nothing.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. In the pandemic, when the American passport couldn't get us out of here,
Right.
I gotta leave you because I got another passport. I got other currencies. Even without the passport, I wasn't even a dual citizen until 2022. In 2020, I went to 3 different countries because I had cash. I was prepared. I tell you, I got the email.
Right.
So I had cash in the currency. So I mean, again, this is just my life, right? It's not like I'm trying to say
But she didn't
I don't
have
want
a-
an American
so what
man.
other passport
I'm just
did she
saying
have?
my,
When you
my
land,
international
you can go to
life,
any
my
cash
global
currency
options.
exchange. Who y'all praying to? When you do all of this stuff,
Whoever she believes in.
who is it? Because I want more information surrounding that. She's monogamous in her soul, but she getting a train ran off for her 50th, bragging about it. Now she's 62, into this polyamory.
Wait,
But
what?
try to
He said she got a train ran on her for her 50th and she bragging about it. Oh, I missed that part. Hold on, I missed that part. This is hey, chat. This one kind of crazy. What's going on here, man?
when you do all of this stuff,
Whoever she believes in.
who is it? Because I want more information surrounding that. She's monogamous in her soul, but she getting a train ran off for her 50th, bragging about it. Now she's 62, into this polyamory, but tried a monogamous relationship, but she was bored. That's why you're bored.
And she said she went out the country to find a man to align with her spiritually because it wasn't here an African American. But yeah, you couldn't find an African American somewhere else who can travel and align with you spiritually.
So I think the monogamous in her soul, I think that is her saying she wished she could find that one person to do everything with. Like that's what she.
Yeah. You guys are doing right now. You guys are doing a collective job of explaining the fact that this woman has been overly sexually stimulated by too many different men, and she has lost her ability to pair a bond. That's what they're getting around to finally getting ready to say that she can no longer latch on and attach to just like this one guy and keep that energy and hold on to it and soul tie and like it's a lock in. It's like the Twilight thing, the imprintation. She can no longer imprint anymore. She's doing this roundabout explanation about why she need all these different men. Shorty, don't listen. We are in a day and time where you do not have to over explain the fact that you are deciding openly to be a hoe. You don't have to explain that, but it's crazy they get on here and do this song and dance. Let's listen to this chat more. Let's listen to him more.
Really, really
That's
wants.
crazy.
So I think that's what she meant by monogamous to her soul. Like she yearns for that. I don't take that away from her. So
like an open relationship, you're saying?
No, she wished she had one person to travel with, pray with, do all these things that she says she has different guys for, but she hasn't been able to find that, so that's why
because she's had too many experiences that trumped the next. And when the bar is set so high in all these different areas, the likelihood of any one person checking them all off is so low. That's why there's a piece of you that should not have exposure to certain things, right? And
pieces that.
I mean, like if you're trying to get monogamous, you shouldn't have exposure to hundreds of partners. You shouldn't have exposure to so many different types of. I don't want to say spirit, because spiritual can kind of be tricky depending on what you can learn and lean towards and what you align with. But when you have like for example, in her case, so many different experiences and so much exposure in different areas. And so this guy might be able to pray with you better over here, and this guy may be able to fuck you better over here, and this guy might be able to travel with you over here, and this guy's an athlete, so he's just, you know, has more stamina than all the rest. Now,
yeah, you just lose the ability. Listen, you lose the ability to pair bond. It's a soul tie, it's a spiritual connection, it's a physical connection. All of this stuff intersyncs, intertwine, interlock is why intercourse is so powerful. And when you doing that and you practicing that with a variety and you move in a certain way and you doing all that, the ability to latch on, this shit been scientifically proven. I wish I could cite a source real quick for y'all, but this shit has been proven. It significantly reduces the woman's ability to latch on and be satisfied with one man. And that's why I always say, and people think it's so far-fetched, because today's time, you know, we call the politically correct term for moving like a hoe is liberated, right? So all this liberation going on out here. So they think it's crazy when I say a woman should be married before she gets to 5 bodies. 5, like they say that too, like 5 is like this little bitty number. Like, yeah, by 5, before you get to 5 men penetrating you, you should have already locked in and secured you a husband. Should never touch that number. For a lot of people, it's already too late. So of course they don't like to hear that. And then that's when they start making ad hominem attacks about me, because they just don't like the, you know, the perspective. But it is what it is. Like, I get that we, you know, a lot of women have done what they've done because they weren't taught certain things. So I ain't even necessarily holding it against them. But you can't also, two things could be true at once. That is what that is. You didn't know what you didn't know, and you moved how you moved until you knew better. Cool. But it also doesn't negate the fact that the women who did know better and didn't make those choices, they ahead of you in the race to that husband. It just is what it is. They have an advantage. Life ain't life. This whole life need to be fair shit, that got a lot of y'all fucked up. You know what I mean? You got to, the quicker you embrace reality, the better. You know what I'm saying? Because you can make the appropriate adjustments so that you can get the results that you want out here. You know, so that's I mean, the song and dance, tap dancing around, you know, ideologies and concepts, like this woman clearly just described that, you know what I'm saying, she moving and grooving and she doing what she want in these streets. She said she got different men for different things. She not in a relationship with nobody. What we call that, y'all? She not gonna say the word, but what do we call that? It's like saying the definition of the word without never saying what the word is that you're defining.
Now you're sitting here looking at yourself and you're like, I don't know who to pick because one is better in one area than the other. Now, I don't even know which area. That's the crazy part. She doesn't even know which area matters most to her. But she can't even decide and pick one.
See,
I like the travel one.
I didn't get that from her, and I'm sorry. She kind of put me on her side with this, because realistically, I think when we get into a relationship with somebody, we do remember our past, regardless of we want the same thing from our past. But we're not, nobody on this panel is with somebody that is everything that they want.
That's called gluttony.
You can call it whatever the fuck you want.
How's that gluttony?
Let's just call
it's
it
greed.
Okay.
How?
Because you want everything, but everything is not possible.
But you just said that she.
Yeah. This whole land of milk and honey, Pleasantville. I can have all of my heart's total and ultimate desires. Listen, I don't know anybody except for the people who are modest that have all their heart's desires. And even they experience absence of people that they wish was still here. And so if you ask them what something they desire they don't have, they'll probably say an ancestor back for a day or something like that. I don't know anybody who just has all of their heart. This whole concept, like, I think a more realistic concept on average would benefit society a lot. A more realistic concept of what happiness looks like, of what success actually is, of what true wealth actually is. And that doesn't mean people shouldn't strive to be rich, but just understanding what true wealth is. Like J. Cole is an example of somebody who exhibits the idea of understanding what true wealth is while being financially wealthy also. Like J. Cole understands money isn't everything. He's broken it down many times in interviews and all of that stuff. And he got money is when he realized it. But some people realize it before then. But I think oftentimes what is true is the people who think money is everything, like everything, people who just haven't experienced touching some real bread yet. Because if you hit a lick, let's say you hit a lick, but lose a homie on the mission, was it worth it? Was the bread worth it? Would you trade the bread for the homie back? See what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff mean more than money. It's just not popular to say that out loud because on social media, everybody rich. Yep. Let's continue.
He's having issues being monogamous because
She's had too much experience.
she wants these things. But what I guess what's wrong with desiring your person to be able to, because I think most people do desire that.
But they don't speak about it.
Well, I spoke
and
with
then
Marie.
you go home and you pretend that this woman is everything, and you sitting there lying to her, and she's lying to you. She's lying to you to fucking feed your ego when she's been with a bunch of other dudes and you ain't it.
Right.
I spoke to Marie about this, and
I just realized something, y'all. Let me holler at y'all, chat. I just realized something. People put a negative connotation on the term settling, but they call it settling down. It's called settling down for a reason. You know, this concept of like, because I hear it often, where it's like, I need somebody who is constantly and consistently and always striving for more and greater. All right, let's make that concept physical. Let's make that ideology physical. You embark on a journey to climb a mountain. And as you climb this mountain, the top of the mountain keep getting higher. Because you will never be satisfied getting to the latitude or the height of what the peak originally was. That's not enough. You will forever want to climb higher. So the mountain adjusts to your desire to climb higher. So now you're on a mountain that you can't get to the top of. But now at this point, you 5,000 feet up. You stuck on a mountain. I said all that to say people should set a peak for themselves. You should have a concept of success. And if you achieve it, then you know you just went beyond what you ever measured for yourself. But most people's idea of success would fall under the definition of gluttony. But let me let them cook a little further. Then we're going to move on in a minute.
And I said we were actually having a conversation about like what is a person's biggest downfall. And I told her my opinion is desire is a person's biggest downfall. Because when you desire something too much, it can actually lead you astray from actually what keeps you grounded. So, for example, it's okay to live without, and I think that's what we got to start to normalize. It's okay to live without the experience of traveling all over the world. Maybe you just travel 1 or 2, 3 countries. It's okay to live without the experience of having the most magnificent sexual experience to the point where you have to go get a train ran on you for your 50th, right? It's okay to live without some of these different experiences, but everybody has the FOMO, and that's actually deteriorating their soul, their morals, and literally putting them in a position where they're forced to accept a life that they do not want, such as her saying she's monogamous in her soul, but she can't find the balance within it to accept that discipline that it requires to be monogamous.
Yeah, he trying to be politically correct, and I'm not there yet. Listen, it's the result. Her mindset is the result of taking too much dick, and she might be let them crash out episode 3. I ain't gonna lie to you. Got to go to Breakfast Club and break that one down. She may be let them crash out episode 3. She is definitely, this woman is the result of taking too much dick. Let's go back to the very beginning so y'all can hear what she said before I move on. For the people that came in late, this is what we're talking about.
But like, would you ever do a story about polygamy? But being the woman who has
who dabbles in it?
Yeah.
Oh, you dabble with?
Yeah.
How is that?
Amazing.
Oh,
amazing. But
Neil
I'll tell
out
you,
here stealing your thunder though. Neil think he the guy now.
Well, he's listen. he can have the because he's there for a whole different reason. Let me say this since we're bringing it up. My space in it, honestly, is because since I've been exposed to different cultures, and different religious and spirit practices around the world, my thing is I haven't found a lot of men in America who are really appealing to me spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So my thing is I've got the athlete that I hang out with, I've got the spirit that I pray with, I've got the person that's adventurous that I travel with. So it's more lifestyle than it is the sexual connection for me. It's more like I'm not in a relationship, so I have more than one man I spend time with.
So whatever you don't get over here, you can get.
Man, listen.
Here.
Yeah. Now my heart and my soul is actually monogamous.
Come on, dog. The shit hit. Come on, dog. I can't do it no more. Come on, man. What we talking about, team? What we talking about, chat? Chat, what we talking about? We moving on, man. We moving on. I can't take this shit no more. Ain't that what Squint said before he went after Wendy Peppercorn? What we got next on the agenda, man? Let me pull the agenda back in real quick, man. What we got next? Yee. So we just did the live reaction. We finna move into the question of the day. Yes, Lord. Let me pull the question of the day in. Bing bong. Question of the day. When should a man disregard a woman's past? As y'all can see the artwork for the day. Check it out. Y'all see the artwork for the day showing Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner. Now we know Brittany Renner. You know what I'm saying? We know Brittany Renner. A lot of us do. Who in here? Who in here? Deacon, what up, bro? What up, bro? What's good, brother? How you feeling, man? 333 to you, man. You know what's going on with it. He said, I got in late. Nah, you here right on time, bro. We at the question of the day. I'm doing the code language last. You just missed the reaction video, but it's all good, man. It was a good one. Had some good diatribes on that joint. But yeah, when should a man disregard a woman's past? It's inspired by Kevin Gates. He just married Brittany Renner. And for people who already know who Brittany Renner is, you know what I mean? She is known for a lot of things associated with, sexualization of herself. You know what I mean? Whether it be her, old videos about certain things as it pertains to, her activity, her intimate activities with men, and, her experience level with, multiple different guys and things like that. Or whether it be knowing her from, having a child with an NBA player, and, it had been rumored that she was trying to take him to the cleaners for child support and all of that, which had been proven to be untrue. But nevertheless, a woman who publicly and, self-admittedly had, a past, you know what I mean? Like a past that, some may or may not, be proud of, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So not to harp on them specifically or her specifically, but to really move to what the inspiration for the question of the day is. You know what I mean? When should a man disregard a woman's past? So I guess in this situation, before y'all answer, chat, because I know Deacon probably cooking up some paragraph worth of articulation. I appreciate it always too, because you always be making sense, bro. Even when we not in perfect alignment, I'll be hearing where you coming from for sure. But I don't know. Like, I think, like, the mission I've always said is we need to reestablish the normalcy of a nuclear black family, right? Meaning that, like, most of your children's friends at school have a mom and a dad at home, right? We need to reestablish the normalcy of that, versus it being normal to only have one parent at home. So that's the mission, right? So I think in order to accomplish the mission at this point, because of the impact and the side effects of what feminism has done and the decision making that women have done over the years with their liberation, I think in order to reestablish the normalcy of the nuclear black family, it's going to take an abundance of men who disregard women's past to resolve the issue for us as black folks. For like in particular, you're gonna need some men who like, I ain't tripping off, you know, them 4 kids, or I'm not tripping off this little reputation or whatever you telling me that you got, or that little one experience you told me that you're not proud of, or whatever. Like, they gonna need some men who, well, what they would call judgment is really just a matter of a different ideologies, right? Different preferences, different levels of importance, right? Some men find certain things important and prioritize certain things that they want from a woman that they would consider long term, and some men prioritize and want other things. I've heard men say, I don't care nothing about that body count shit. That shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know, you with me now. You know, I heard plenty of men with that thinking. And then, you know, I know some men who are very rigid about that. Like, you know, they damn near trying to run into a nun. You know what I mean? So what we doing, chat? All right, we got a response from Deacon. Deacon says, I don't think that you should never disregard a woman's past. I believe that women have the power to break nations down. Example, America. By disregarding her past is like filing bankruptcy. Ooh, okay. Okay. So you don't think that a man should ever disregard a woman's past? Okay, so let me ask you another question, Deacon, for you to spell out. I hope you're not driving either. Don't risk it. But if you're not in motion, and you could type to me. When you say that you don't think a man should ever, oh, okay, he already on it now. He not in motion. He typing. It may clear your debt, but the impact that it takes is a detriment to the economy. And if enough people do it, it breaks the economy. Tenfold. Yeah, I was gonna ask you for elaboration on that, but you already were on it. Cool. So your opinion is that you don't think a man should ever see. That's what I'm saying. And I've heard men on both sides of the fence in regards to this one. What up to everybody falling in 333 in the chat? Make sure y'all holler at me in the chat. This is the question of the day. So this one of the most interactive parts of the live. So if y'all not moving around and y'all able to interact, holler at me in the chat. I post all comments. I read them out loud and answer y'all, respond to y'all takes, even whether I agree or disagree. But yeah, I think that it's an individual case basis thing. I don't know, to answer the question in general, when should a man disregard a woman's past? I would say if it's if you feel if it's something like the situation where it's a well-known past, like let's say she used to do OnlyFans, but she done changed her life, gave her life to God, but what she was doing was very public. Let's say she had ran up the numbers on social media. Let's just do a hypothetical. And so she's well known for being an OnlyFans girl. Like a lot of people done seen the goods, right? But you bump into her and she's a changed woman genuinely, right? And you see it and you around her in person. Everybody else just know the internet version of her. You know, at what point do you say, you know what, I'm gonna take this woman serious in spite of some of the things she's done on camera? And you could dull it down to something less intense. Let's just say she used to just be a dancer, and a dancer with integrity, not one that was doing crazy stuff in the club, not one that was, you know, doing this and that. You know, when do you say, you know what, that don't matter to me? You know what I mean? I'm here now. You, this version of you, that's my only concern. Let's rock out. You know, when is that a thing? And then when is it like, okay, you did these things in your past, I appreciate your honesty, but you know, I'm gonna slot you over here now because of that. What y'all think about that, man? I'll say what I think. I think that you first, my answer not going to be so straightforward, but I'll give an answer though. I think that first a man has to start off with knowing and understanding himself. Once he go from knowing and understanding himself, he can make an informed decision on what his tolerance level is and what his, you know, his pet peeves are and his tolerables and his non-negotiables. Like, okay, you got some men who are a hard no on women with children. Then you got some men that are like, I don't mind children as long as they under the age of this. Then I've heard some men say they don't mind children as long as they older, damn now almost out the house. Then I heard some men say they don't mind kids as long as it's only a certain number of kids, right? So everybody got their own different philosophy. So in order to answer this question, I can't make it general this time. Sometimes generalizations apply, but I'm not going to apply them with something like this. I really think the answer to this question is an ICB, individual case basis situation. If you don't care that a woman, back in her hometown, you might meet her because people move, but you go back to visit her hometown and some dude at the gas station holler at you by the cooler and let you know the chick you in there with, you must don't be from around here. You must not know about her. And he give you some game. And now you find out some shit she ain't told you about her past as far as her moving and grooving and everybody had a ride type shit. You got to decide within yourself if that's one of them things where the version of her I know is what's important to me and I ain't tripping off that versus it making you look at her different. I think either move or either change would be justifiable. It just depends on who you are. Deacon got another response. Deacon said, I think that women believe that we're punishing them, but I think that God built in us a mechanism to disqualify women, just like women have in them, an automatic disqualification within them. And so you believe that certain decisions that a woman may have made are potentially disqualifiers. What are some disqualifiers, Deacon? Let's branch off on this. What are some disqualifiers? What do you think are some general things that would disqualify? I could say I've made exceptions on certain shit that should have been disqualifications. So I feel you. But I think as men, part of being a man is, getting the game from playing it, right? You got to get out in the field to catch a pop fly. Let's see. He said, it's repulsive for women to have a high body count to men, just like it's repulsive for a man to be weak and broke. I think these systems are built in us so that we can keep society going. I definitely agree that men should definitely be strong. And I definitely believe that men should be providers for sure. As far as women's body count, that conversation is one that gets so touchy for a lot of people because first off, well, here's the thing, to discuss it, how do you ever get the truth? How do you ever get the truth? So you can't even really have a conversation. Who's telling the truth? The only people telling the truth is people who are proud of their numbers. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot of people keeping secrets that they proud of, unless you just a private out the way person altogether, which would also be in alignment with the fact that you probably have a body count you proud of. Staying out the way, not doing too much, being private, being to yourself. You probably see the game a little bit slower, and so you can make better decisions. You don't turn the ball over as much. You know what I mean? So, but how do we tell? You can't even tell I feel like through conversation and spending time with a person, eventually you have an idea of whether or not they have more experience than you comfortable with. But as far as narrowing it down, like, oh, I could tell by looking at her, she got 40, but like, or, a woman could look at a guy and be like, I know he done been around the world twice. Like, that part you can't really tell. And then if you ask somebody, good luck getting the truth. That's what I'm saying. That's a tough discussion altogether, bro. Yeah. But nah, man. Back to what I was saying in regards to like when should a man disregard a woman's past? Yeah, you just gotta know yourself to know whether or not the past that you hearing about or whatever she divulging to you is something that's not gonna unsettle your spirit as you go along. Because a lot of times you might really, really like her, but you find out something that is really not settling well with your spirit. You try to make peace with it, and then you end up burning up a bunch of time learning that you can't really make peace with it. Or it might be something that you feel like ain't a big deal, but then the fallout or the effects on her said past had start to show up in the relationship down the line. And then that could be a problem. And they'll work both ways. Unresolved shit from a guy, but I think at least a lot of the fellas I know, a lot of their past consist of learning the nature of women. Like women go through their younger years, if they not intentional about locking in and finding marriage and finding a husband in their early 20s or mid 20s, if they not intentional in that way and they on some I want to have fun type shit, they oftentimes spend those years learning that their taste in men is ass naturally, and that they don't really choose what's good for them innately, and then they trying to smarten up a little later in the game for the ones that's unintentional. So that's what they get when they go out into the field. They learn how choosing bad turns out. You know what I mean? Essentially. And then the men who are unintentional, who just want to have fun through their 20s, they end up dealing with a lot of different women that deal with them for a lot of different reasons, and they learn what getting finesse feel like. They learn what getting curved feel like. They learn what having success feel like, right? They learn all these different experiences. They learn what, and so they end up getting the game from playing it, like I say. So men and women gather different things from playing the field. Deacon, what you talking about? He said, I ask and I inquire about my wife's body count. I also investigated to see if she was telling the truth. I searched everything that I could find, and I asked crafty questions. Oh, you a whole detective. You 12. What else you say? If body count is important to you and she lies to get you, then she has taken away your ability to choose. That's why if I ever found out my wife lied, I'd divorce her immediately. Oh, you got a firm boundary. You got a line in the sand, huh? You got a moat. I hear you though. Yeah, I mean, yeah, some things you could find out that'll make you feel like, you know what, this ain't even off the strength of this information. This ain't even what I thought it was at all. So I want out completely. I could see why you arrive at that. Hey, brother, listen, your boundaries, dog. I respect that. I respect that for sure. For sure. Yeah, but like I can honestly say, for real, like my type, because I got a type. It's not really a physical type, but it's like a personality type, character type, mental type. Like the females I like, they kind of low body count centric, just because of the characteristics that I like in females and like the demeanor and the temperament that I like in women. They kind of don't be coming with all that whole bunch of experience. Like women I date or run into or gonna try to take serious, it normally be a situation where they had like one or two, maybe three like serious ass relationships they've been in their life, like relationship type girls. I don't really be like really, at least not in no recent years, talking to no females that spent hella time single and shit, like testing the market and shit. That's a lot of, listen, man, if y'all think these men and women out here single and celibate, y'all crazy as hell. So you go on a first date with a female, she tell you she been single 5 years. She done dipped her toe in a lot of water. You feel me? Or a lot of toes been dipped in her water. You feel what I'm saying? It's a safe assumption. Now you could be wrong. But again, that's a conversation. Just like Deacon said, he inquired about his wife's body count. It's conversations motherfuckers can't be scared to have on no date. I ask shit, oh, okay, how long you been single? Oh, she say, 5 years. Oh, okay, that's what's up. 5 years. That's a bit of time. That's a half a decade. Okay. So, how have you been practicing celibacy? I'm asking. Yeah. Let's see if you're gonna lie. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Or you been situation shipping it up? I need answers. Cause that shit be mattering, yo. Because like it's different types of single people. All single people don't move the same. So that shit matters. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about inquiring about the past, whether it be recent past or the long, like distant past, you know what I'm saying? Some poor decisions she made when she was 15 and y'all dating at 40. It's like, come on, bro. Like, what we really talking about? But it depends. Were them things traumatizing? Have you worked on them? Like, it's people who ain't got over plenty of shit from childhood. So these are all like, when you talk about disregarding the past, because is she gonna disregard your past? Is she gonna disregard your past? Is she gonna, take you as you are with, whatever, because whatever happened to you, I don't know. It's a good conversation though. It's a good conversation. Y'all let me know in the comments. I'm finna move on to the code language discussion though here in a second. But Y'all make sure y'all drop comments. Make sure y'all stay in the chat 333 if you with me. And I want to hear what y'all think about this. But we're gonna move on to the next segment here in a second. Yes, Lord. So we moving into the code language conversation. Today we talking about know your code. We talking about know your code today. So in this segment, I wanted to talk about know your code because what I'm realizing is since I've been doing the classic codes, dropping snippets from these live segments, doing all of that, I've been noticing that, you know, a lot of people, I get DMs across all platforms because I post my codes on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So I get comments and DMs from all platforms. And I've been noticing that, you know, there's certain people that reach out and they be like, yo, like, I'll fuck with this. Like, I like you be dropping gems and shit like that, information, you know, books, all type of shit. Like, people like, keep doing them, please. Like, don't stop the work, you know what I mean? Which we not. You see, we ramping it up. We not slowing down. But I'm realizing that a lot of people are forming their morals and their principles still from just conversations that I've been having. It's like, and there's nothing wrong with that, first off. So I'm not saying this from a place of like a higher up or I know more, but I'm learning that a lot of people are still forming their morals and principles, and because a lot of people have gone away from traditional religions and traditional doctrines, which I don't necessarily disagree with if you have the foundational principles to operate outside of that. So if you don't need a book to know that you should love your neighbor or not smash somebody else's spouse, or like if you don't need a book to know that you shouldn't just for no reason unalive somebody, then yeah, you probably could operate as a spiritual person without an actual text to follow. But if you're a person who need a guideline, then I think having a religious doctrine that you locked in with, it'll benefit us in society as a whole, for people who need that to have that, because you don't need people out here running rogue, not believing in sin and not believing in nothing, because that's how you get a society full of sociopaths. You feel me? So, but that's another story. But know your code. I'm learning that a lot of people still forming their morals and their principles and stuff like that. And so I just want to have this know your code language conversation to say that I think that's dope first and foremost. And for the people who haven't consciously thought about the fact that, like, if somebody just asked you and asks you in the elevator, hey, what are some of your morals and principles? Off the cuff in the elevator, can you answer that in like 20 seconds, 30 seconds? Or if somebody asks you, like, what are 2 or 3 of your most rigid boundaries as a person, as an individual? Can you answer that in a couple of seconds? Deacon, did you have a comment that I didn't read, brother? Okay. You do have a comment that I didn't read. My bad. Don't even trip. Okay, he said, I also think that there is an underlying insecurity that comes with a woman with a high body count brings, and I don't think insecurity is inherently bad. I think it's reasonable insecurity is healthy. Okay. And then he also said, let's say you're not her best lover. She'll probably compare you to her exes, and that could turn into an added possibility of her cheating on you, which would in turn break up your family. Then he said, and that will put your child at a higher chance of being a statistical loser, which would affect their kids, and your entire lineage would be in danger because of one promiscuous woman. Hey, war's been fought over promiscuous women, dog. War's been fought over them. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your participation. My bad. I had to go back and read the comments and catch up. That was from the last segment. We just did the question of the day. But yeah, in regards to knowing your code, I think it's important for people to have some type of concise understanding of what they're about, things that they will and won't stand for, do and don't stand for, right? And if you don't have that, it's something that I believe people should consciously put their minds on, because it really does have a lot to do with the way you're gonna walk, talk, carry yourself, emotionally. It gives you another ability. It gives you a higher ability to tap into emotional intelligence, understanding what you're about. It structures you emotionally, right? A lot of people don't even know or can't identify their triggers. You got to control how many triggers you have. Some triggers are unhealthy. It's people with triggers that were unhealthy and they locked up for a long time because they were overly triggered and made an impulse decision that, you know, they can't get it back, you know. But then other triggers you may want to keep. Like for me personally, I'm not a super forgiving person and I'm not trying to become one. I know y'all gonna get in the comments. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. I think that forgiving people for certain things is goofy. And honestly, it's unbecoming of you. It doesn't behoove you to forgive people for certain things. I understand that God is gracious and merciful to people who have structured religious beliefs. I understand that concept. I believe people should be gracious and merciful. I believe there's a cutoff point on that shit. For sure. You harm my family, I have no grace. And if the law enforcement does not get to you before I do, I will have no mercy. So all that, what y'all be talking about, forgive everybody and all that, God bless y'all. But again, that's me knowing my code. Let me bring this full circle. That's me knowing my code. Would I tell somebody else to be like me? No, I would tell them to identify with themselves, understand themselves, build a relationship and a rapport with your ego. Spend some time alone, spend some time in silence, meditate, take some time to breathe. These are things that help you tap in inwardly. A lot of people, what I'm learning in society, because of some of the outlandish shit we hear people say, some of it's clickbait and some of it is genuine, you know, ignorance. But some of the things we hear people say is just like, you contradict yourself every 3 sentences, you don't know yourself. You know, Deacon says, even in the scriptures, God doesn't forgive you for certain things. Facts. Facts. And that's why I always say, just real quick, that's why I always say, a lot of people overly emphasize and spend time on Jesus. Nothing wrong with like knowing the story of Jesus, acknowledging Christ and all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's so much book left. And there's so much to take from the rest of that book. There is. And if you only focus on one character, you won't understand when you need to be tapping into different frequencies. Like the concept of constantly walking in Christ's energy doesn't benefit oppressed people, period, whether it be black or any other color. To come out of oppression, you have to tap into the energy of those who came up out of oppression. If using the word is your tool, you need to go to the scriptures where people was leading people out of oppression and see how they was moving. They wasn't moving with all that grace and mercy, champ. They was not moving with all that grace and mercy. And so I think the concept of pushing on oppressed people to constantly walk like Christ, it got people being gracious and merciful when they should have been stopped. Yeah, it's a grip of battles and wars fought in the text. Sometimes it's time to take up arms and get active. Yeah. But that's a different conversation. So yeah, Deacon, he said you have some good content. It's really balanced. We need more of this in the black space. That's why I'm here, bro. And I'm gonna provide enough to where you know all my subscribers feel fed. That's why I'm here, bro. And I appreciate that, bro. That means a lot to me. I'm gonna read this again. My man said you have some good content. It's really balanced, and we need more of this in the black space. Thank you for acknowledging that my content is balanced, because I'll post, you know, people, it's a clip and snippet, you know, situation. So people see clips and they may only see one clip. In this particular clip, I'm going hard on women, or I'm going hard on a subject matter, or I'm going, you know, I'm being brash about something. And they think all my content is just about that. I have, you know, 2,000 hours of content on just that one subject, you know? And so if they come to the lives, which I see more and more people filing in and out every single day, they'll see that the live is reaction video, which is generally the entertainment piece, right? And we also have this code language where we talk about some real like life stuff, you know? And then we have our question of the day, which is also fun, entertainment, and it's very balanced, right? Because we get some education from it, some enlightenment from it, and we also all get to share our perspectives. So I appreciate you acknowledging that my show is balanced, man. That's what I've always been aiming for, a balance between entertainment and like real shit and getting a point across at the same time. If we can continue to accomplish that, I don't think there's any stopping, man. I really don't. So, man, that was much appreciated for that, bro. For sure. But yeah, I think it's important, man. Everybody needs to know their code, understand their boundaries, understand the things that they willing to crash out for. Because I truly believe if you're not willing to pass away for something, you aren't living for anything. So everybody should have something they willing to crash out for real. Because what are you here for? What are you protecting? What are you providing for? What are you nurturing? It should be something that make you go too far. If not, what do you really care about? So but I think understanding those limits is what keeps you away from the edge. If we don't identify those things within ourselves, if we don't look inward enough, if we don't establish what our boundaries are, we don't know if we can't write on our palms some principles, you know what I mean? Like it should be able to fit on the palm of your hand, like 3 principles or 3 morals that you just stand on. Like, I don't tolerate this. I will always operate out of this. You know what I mean? Like I'll share with y'all, one of mine is gratitude. It's to live my entire life rooted in gratitude. That's one of my morals and one of my principles. Every single thing I do is gratitude first, which is why, people keep forgetting I'm hurt. Every time I post a recovery video, people DM me like, I forgot you was injured, man. You be posting content like ain't nothing. I forgot something was wrong with you. Like, y'all don't know right now, my leg propped up. Like I can't walk. So like I'm recovering from an injury, but like it's people who go through injuries like this and they spend the whole time trying to recover, depressed, sad, gluttonous, eating ice cream, watching all the shows on Netflix. Nah, we getting active. Oh, y'all got me. I can't do nothing. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. We finna make content 40 going north. We gonna say to people, we gonna fix these black households through some tough love and some tough conversations. We gonna respect everybody's opinions. We gonna have a dialogue. If y'all go to my YouTube comments, y'all will see that I respond to every single comment. And when I disagree with people, we have the conversation. We'll go back and forth 10 comments. And it's not an argument. I let you know why I disagree, how I understand you, all that. And they do the same back. And sometimes it's a stalemate, but we had the conversation. And I come away from that learning about different ways that people view things. Even though I disagree with you, just from talking to you and listening to understand you, I just learned about a new vantage point that somebody could have. I didn't even know you could look at that way. You just showed me something. You know what I mean? So this is how we become more well-rounded. And that's what code cracking is, man. So I hope y'all know we taking over the YouTube space. We taking over the TikTok space. We taking over this whole content game in a real way. You know what I mean? Deacon Chris, one of the day ones. Hey, bro, I'm learning everything day by day. Today we streaming live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna figure out the little wrench thing. I'm sure it's easy, but I gotta get you wrenched up, dog. So when the trolls come through the chat, you can time them out for me, dog. For sure. But for everybody that popped into the live, man, it's Q&A time. So y'all got 3 minutes. If nobody asks any questions, anything y'all want, just drop a question in the chat. It's chat Q&A time. Y'all got 3 minutes to hit me with some questions. I'll answer whatever. If y'all don't have no questions, I'll tap out the live. But if y'all got questions, we'll stay on here. I got time. It's Q&A time. Holla at me, chat. Yup. Yeah, man, that code language conversation was dope. Code language conversation. Make sure y'all know y'all codes, man. Chat Q&A. I'm sure Deacon got a question, but I don't even know if you still in here. It's crazy. I got to figure out how I can see exactly who viewing my shit. I can see how many, but I can't see who it is. I'll be wanting to shout people out to show them some love. If y'all in the chat, holla at me. But I know people like it be truck drivers listening to live streams too. So some people be on the road. I don't want nobody playing dangerous trying to be in the chat. You feel me? I done almost lost my life in a vehicle a couple times in a real way. In a real way. Y'all don't know the half. But I'm sure it'll come out of my content one day. Here we go. We got a question. Tenfo. Why are we shamed for preferring a woman with a low body count? we're only shamed by people who it's too late for. It's very hard. It's hard for people. Okay, like we got to have some sympathy and some empathy for this, right? It's hard for people to hear a truth that makes them uncomfortable, that is irreversible, right? So instead of like having to watch content on YouTube or see reels or this, that, and the third, or see all these little snippets from podcasts where men are like speaking about how they prefer a woman who has kind of, saved it a little bit, kept the numbers low. They're uncomfortable because it's too late for a lot of them, right? And then what is low? See, that'd be the thing too. These days, if you ask a person what low is, if you ask 10 people, you probably get 10 different answers. And I mean, if you ask 10 of each sex, so 10 men, you might get 10 different answers. To me, a low body count is 5 and under. That's low to me. That is like you're in the running off that. Don't fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? That's low to me. You know what I mean? But then it's like, what is an acceptable number? That's when the conversation start getting uncomfortable for people. Because it's like, okay, what's acceptable? If I tell you acceptable as far as like qualifications for long term, if I'm talking to a group of women, or if I'm in front of a group of women, right? Let's say this was a podcast and a group of women was really in front of us. We on stage. And I say, well, an acceptable body count to consider a woman for marriage to me is also 5 and under. Many of them will be disgruntled, disheartened, not because they want me to see them as a candidate, but just because simply what I'm saying could be viewed as negative and it's applicable. It's applicable. You know what I mean? Like they know that they outside of the lines. So I think a lot of times the shaming is just a defense mechanism. I said all that to get around to that. I think it's just a way of getting on the defense. For real. If we just being honest, because but at the same time, oftentimes I never really hear shaming. I don't really hear shaming. I mean, I believe in shaming. So, but I'm saying I don't really hear it from other people. I'll hear men expressing like, I prefer this, I prefer that. It would be nice if this or that. But as far as like, I believe in shaming. You'll hear some shaming on my channel. I believe bring back the scarlet letter. Like make it cool for women to be proud of like having less sexual experience again. Make that cool again. Make like being fine as hell, fully dressed, cool again. Like make that cool. Like because that's wife energy. Like if you women want to be wives, men all over the internet, myself included, be giving out the recipe. The problem is they just don't like it. They don't like the ingredients that you're talking about. They don't like the recipe. They reading it like, I don't eat some of this stuff. I got allergies to some of this shit you talking about in this recipe. But men giving out the game. You know what I'm saying? We got a comment. But we have so many sexually compromised men that we can't get on code and figure out a group consciousness on what is and is not acceptable. The women slip through the cracks by shaming men into caving. I have to disagree with you, Deacon. Let me read through this again to make sure I'm following you completely. We have so many sexually compromised men that we can't get on code and figure out a group consciousness on what is and is not acceptable. The women slip through the cracks by shaming men into caving. Caving in what way though? Shaming men into caving how? I think that's the part that's confusing me. But when you say sexually compromised men, you mean men who have like explored their options already, like they have high body counts or whatever the case may be? Because here's the thing, here's the reality of it. Men who have a lot of sexual experience, as long as they're still physically healthy, you know what I mean? Having that experience doesn't disqualify them for being a husband for most women. You rarely seldom hear a woman say, I want a man who hasn't slept with a bunch of women or hasn't, or I just want a man with limited sexual experience. I haven't heard any women say that online. I'm sure they exist. I'm not saying they don't exist, but not in abundance. I haven't heard any of it. And I consume a lot of hours of like informational material, podcast material, sociology type shit. So I haven't heard any women emphasizing that they even care about men's body count. But the fact that pick-me's are the ones who are wives, like women who call women pick-me's like it's an insult, they're feminists. Because being a pick-me is a compliment. When I hear a woman get called a pick-me, I'll be wanting to see what she about. Oh, she a pick-me? What she be talking about? Yeah, women who want to get picked. That makes sense. Like what you, if you're not a pick-me, what's the opposite? Somebody who's consistently difficult, disagreeable. It's not a wife. Nobody's signing up for life with that energy, that attitude. Don't nobody want push back all day. That's not a no. Deacon said sexually compromised men are men who don't have boundaries on their limits on the pursuit of sex, i.e. a simp. Okay, I got you. They're the ones that be getting finessed too. They be getting finessed a lot. He also said, but I think that women shame weak men to accepting their higher body counts in order for them to land somewhere without consequences after all of their bad choices. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. And I probably, I'm not gonna make some people happy with this, but honestly, I only think women who are still attractive, body count high or body count low, women who keep themselves physically attractive, they're gonna forever be able to attract suitors. And I don't care how old they is. They could be 60. If she's 60 and she keep herself up and she still got it, she gonna forever be able to attract suitors. I think the issue is that women, this is what we call hitting the wall. They get to a space where the people who are attracted to them, though there is still a populace of people attracted to them, it's no longer anybody that they are attracted to. That's where the frustration sets in. That's what we call hitting the wall. It's not that they are without options. They're without options that they see as viable, which in my definition, that means you don't have options. If options means there's somebody I know that knows me, that I would want to be with and that would want to be with me, but for whatever reason, we're not exploring that at this point in time, but we both see each other as somebody we would deal with on another level. But there's intangibles that are currently in the way, but that's an option. If you have people in your phone that want you and you don't want any of them, none of them are options. That's not an option. It's a suitor, right? It's somebody who's in front of you, who's made themselves present, who's made themselves available. But if you do not see them as potential, they are not an option. You know what I'm saying? So I think we get that twisted too. Like what the difference between an option is and somebody who's just, shooting. Deacon said, I think that women shame weak men to accepting their higher body counts in order for them to land somewhere without consequences after all their bad choices. Okay, I read that already. Then you said that's because the men are weak. They value beauty over character, and that's what society does to weak men. Oh yeah, getting finessed and shit. Yeah, you got to stop caring about what they look like early. If you want to avoid some of the shit that come with that, you got to stop caring about what they look like early. God forbid you get your first baddie. We're going to do some content on that too. The first baddie experience. Every man gonna have to come to the front of the congregation in that one. We all done did too much. Yeah, we all done did too much. We didn't got out here before. Ain't nobody undefeated in the streets. We know that. But did you I hope I gave a good response to your question, bro. Yeah, I hope I gave. You said, why are we ashamed for preferring a woman with a lower body count? Yeah, I just think like anything, it's all about pros and cons. And I think that when you weigh the pros and cons and shit like that, if you ask someone to be honest about their preference, they're going to prefer something that has more pros than cons. And so if we spell it out from a logical standpoint, it's not a personal attack on anyone. And I understand how it may sting a bit if you've already made choices that are contrary to that's being discussed. But it still is what it is. And it doesn't mean that you can't move forward. But it does mean that depending on your age, depending on your level of experience, depending on the baggage that you come with, depending on these things, you may need to taper your tastes, taper your requirements, taper your expectations so that you can actually achieve the real goal of some true, pure companionship with somebody that sees real value in you and that's going to treat you good and that's got a good mind and a heart for you so that even when they make mistakes, their intentions was right. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you could build on and sustain with. I think that we don't have a connectivity issue. We have a sustainability issue There are plenty of women all over the place that tell you how easy it is to get a man. They don't keep them. And they'll tell you, I wasn't trying to keep them, I left. Well, that's part of the sustainability issue. Thank you for making my point. That's how that works, right? So bragging about always being the one to leave, you know, it's like bragging about always being the problem. You know what I mean? That's so, you know, and then, well, we left because you made us leave because you wasn't shit. Well, then it's like, okay, well, how do he even get this far with you? Well, don't put it back on me. Well, stop escaping accountability. We're not saying this guy is infallible. We hear you. We say you said he cheated. Okay, we believe you. Did you do anything wrong at all? No, I was a perfect angel. Okay, so why aren't you married now? Well, I haven't found anybody that's okay. Well, listen, so me personally, being a person who's seen many weddings, I have been an officiant in a wedding. Yes, my signature is on marriage licenses. I've been an officiant in a wedding. I've been a best man in multiple weddings. I've been a groomsman. I've been a member of the audience. I've been a ring bearer. I've been everything but the groom. I've seen people get married. I know how wives talk. I know the energy that they give off. I know why men choose the women that they chose. If you get around the wife on the wedding day and you see the energy that she's exuding and the way that they are around each other, you understand why he felt this one was the one that he needed to lock in with. There's an energy there. There's an embrace there. She fuck with him like that, how he is. Yeah. She really like him for real. So I think oftentimes that be the difference. A lot of times, and then this the thing too, which that is evil in nature, but we don't point it out. When men make genuine passes at women because they actually see something in women, and women for their own selfish reasons decide to entertain a man, even though they don't like him for real, and they know they don't like him for real, they entertain him anyway. They need to free that man because he may shut down his whole process. He may simp out behind it and stop dating all other people and only focus on her, and she only entertaining him, and he's naive to the fact that he not going to be celebrated in this situation. He's being tolerated. He's being dealt with. You know? So it's like that's victimization. That's predatory, in my opinion. You know. But yeah, he said you gave plenty of good answers. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, but it's Q&A, man. I'll give y'all 2 more minutes because I see a few more people came in. We at the chat Q&A part of the show, so drop a question in the chat. Anything you want, I'll answer it, speak to it. We'll wait till they get to the hour, 15-minute mark, and if nobody got any questions, I'll tap out the live. But while we here, if you're not subscribed to both of my YouTube channels, make sure you subscribe to both. We got the Classic Codes, and then you have Classic Codes Sports. Make sure you subscribe to both my YouTube channels. We're about to ramp up the sports channel. It's already active and it's moving. We're about to ramp that up, and especially going into football season. But make sure you subscribe to both and turn on notifications because we're doing live. We're doing it every day, and I think we're putting together a great live show, man. I really do. We've had some very successful shows, and the channel producing high-level content every single day. So if you're looking for a good channel to get information and entertainment, because sometimes I come on here and crash straight out. Today I've been cool. Today I've been super just chill. We talking about the topics, but sometimes I come on here and crash out. It depends. I think it's the reaction videos that get me. Because today I almost crashed out today on the reaction part when Shorty said all that about dealing with all these different men and bragged about getting a train ran on her for her 50th birthday, and then she topped it off at the end and said, "I'm monogamous in my soul." And that's when I knew. And then y'all will get mad at us for saying women say anything. I mean, she's just one woman, but the shit sometimes that just come out like, what the fuck? You know, sorry for the vulgarity. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. The chat been quiet, man. Deacon been holding it down for sure. Always great conversation. Deacon, you got to hit me up on the gram, man, and DM me and let me know what your schedule is so we can get you up on the live feed, bro. You gotta let me know what your schedule is. If we got to go evening with it one day or whatever, early morning on the weekend, however we got to put it together, bro. Just let me know. I'd love to have that conversation in person. We bring you up for the question of the day, bring you up for the code language. You know, maybe the reaction, just depending on what it is, bro. We got to put that together. But yeah, man, if there isn't any more questions for me, man, it's been another successful live show. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Make sure, again, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the notifications, jump into the comments if you're watching this after the live stream, and let's have a conversation because we got to crack these codes. If you don't do anything else, man, stick to the codes. Another classic.
Classic codes, I ain't taking it slow. Forgive me, Lord, I woke up in that mode. Weathered the winters when left in the cold. Harden my heart, now harden the flow. They don't